Welcome everyone to today's webinar on learning management systems versus the digital adoption platform. My name is Tegan Naidu. I'm a customer success manager at Newired. I'll be presenting today, and we'll speak about the different platforms, LMS, DAP, and LRS. You may really ask yourself what all these platforms do. So today we'll briefly cover what these platforms do, the LMS, the DAP, and LRS, and how they offer, and also focus on the learning management system and digital adoption platforms, how they play together to benefit each other. We'll not dive too deep into the learning management system because they've been in the market for ages, and you probably are already quite familiar with these concepts, but maybe less with a DAP, and how they work together. My aim is to explain where one complements the other. So let's first look at start with the LMS. LMS is an online educational hub that governs the activities such as classroom learning, distance education, or continuing education. So you can actually learn or be trained on a specific topic anywhere and anytime in today's technology world with any device that has rich media content such as pictures, videos, and so on. At the end of such training, you are also capable of tracking whether people have been trained on different parts of the learning curriculum. There, you can also track with regards to tests and quizzes, which gives you an understanding of what the department's level of training has reached. So if we take an example, some of the golf training courses where you can actually perform specific tests and submit the answers is the main benefit of a learning management system. There are other things it can do as well, like track compliance of the employee with specific regulations and internal procedures. And also the benefit for the employee is that he or she doesn't really need to attend a course off-site or at a specific time, but more on their convenience online. And that's the training system that most traditional companies, most companies are making use of. This can be really maintained and up to date because people get most up-to-date content when they are trained online. Though the very important topic today is really what the main scope of what people want to be trained on with the learning management system. We very often find people need to be trained on external regulations. We know it's very well from the perspective of most of our customers that are coming from the medical or automotive or even fintech markets, where there are lots of different regulations that you want your employees to be familiar with or really properly trained. But there are lots of also internal processes that are specific to your organization. And what traditionally was also the scope of the LMS was the training on top of the digital tool. They were usually internal. So you had the split of the training where they would do some online training, and then they'd have to come back into the office and actually have some internal guidance to apply this training within the applications they use. And this is the space that the DAP fills. We guide the end user through the processes within the application. Today, to really stay competitive in business, the markets are going through digital transformation, so that companies are using much more digital tools and want to make sure that people are actually being trained on these digital tools. But this really isn't often associated with the so-called learning curve. And if we check what's the typical learning curve, retraining for or overtraining for digital tool or a software application, you need to train the people, but the people forget. It's only human nature, and especially with the apps that are really complex, and every month you're exposed to a new version of the tool. There comes a lot of frustration because people can forget this quite easily, and there is a chance in the process of the configuration of a tool to have a process guide the end user, be it through a complex or a simple task, from beginning to the end, rather than trying to always refer back to training into a different application, or using PDFs to try and find out the next step. With the DAP, it's at a click away within the environment. Here's a great example I think that you might relate with and understand, that if you want to learn to drive a car, of course you can read a book, but it would probably be much better if you learn to drive really by sitting in a car with a coach or a driving instructor that really shows you within the environment the so-called learn by doing or learn by driving in this example. This approach of learn by doing is the concept that Newired brings as an innovation for true digital training system. Conservatively, in the past, this has been performed by LMS systems. So what I wanted to show you today is, just before I show you the integration of how that tools work together, I'd like to show you what the new Wired platform looks like, and how the concept of learn by doing is useful. So if I change over my screens into our live demo, we can open this up. We have a demo site that we utilize for this types of purposes. It's just a general CRM software. You may not be totally familiar with this, but it works in the same light. Here we are triggered to engage with Newired. We can understand getting started. We can even change our language. So for a newcomer, let's learn how to get logged in. We just execute this. it tells us that we are going to be going through a login process. This could be customized for your environment, maybe giving some more insight into what the application does and how they should use it. So we follow the steps by logging in. And click login. Great. Once we are logged in, we should be welcomed as it loads by another message, or even you could have it direct you through to a process, or even maybe even a video if you'd like. But in this case, it informs us that the help triangle will show us all the journeys to demo the CRM software. We can end our journey here, and with the help triangle, you now notice that we have a few more journeys to choose from. This is a visibility rule that's set up within the application to make the guidance system more focused to the user's needs. So for now, we will go through some sort of training, like in LMS environment. We'll get an overview of the CRM, guiding us through each tab and giving us a understanding of what it can be used for. Sorry, I clicked. So we see that it gives us all the different tabs, explains how that we could use it. The user could also go back if they needed to recheck something, or they can progress through the system, understanding the full overview of how to use an application. So that's the training side of things. You can obviously configure your system, your Newired system, to do some in-depth training or an overview like we've just seen. But what makes it really special is when you can actually complete a task using this guided system. So here we have an example of how to create an account. Within the new version of Newired, you can also view this externally. So something to this effect: if the user wants to just have a quick look at where should I fill out the form in this area, they can, or they can open it up into a new window and follow it step by step on a second screen. But for our case, we want to be guided through using the system. As we play that journey, it should load up for us. Give me a second. I think I have a slow connection here. Okay. Create a new account. This journey you will learn how to create a new account. Once we click next, you notice the screen is slightly grayed in color. This stops the end user from escaping out of the process that you'd like to see completed in a specific way. So here we are told to click on create, and also again we can't click anything else. We have to click on create account. We then just give it a few seconds to load. We have a side panel explaining what needs to be done on the form. This is a way to minimize the steps needed, where you can have multiple instructions over one panel. And here it just gives us some information saying that the fields marked with asterisks are mandatory. Once done, you can click next. Okay, so we see a field is mandatory. For this demo, I'm going to leave it out, and we'll see how the system reacts. So we can put in a street here, Okay, and we say next. We then follow the next step by saving. Now, this is where the system comes in and says, well, look, I've made all these requirements need to be completed before you can progress to the next step. So please follow the steps and click next. And once they've done that, they can save their task and also if they would like, they could leave some feedback saying that they found this, maybe they were disappointed, it did the job, it was great. This feedback is set to be anonymous, but if the user would like to have their identity with regards to the feedback, they can by adding it in here and maybe saying it was great, but can we have more pictures, for example? You know, these are some things that could be written in here. As I say, the anonymous, it's generally set to anonymous, but this can be changed up in the corner there. What you may see also within the screen are these information icons. Now, it looks like it's embedded within the target application, but this is a feature of Newired that you can have these tips, so-called tips, that either give some information related to a task or to a field, or it can also direct you into a journey, a journey of creation or journey of processes that need to be completed. We also have playbooks. Playbooks are considered a library of journeys that get tracked over a period of completion, and once these are tracked, the end user can understand the full process of that was needed to be conveyed. So that's the Newired overview demo. It just shows you how creative you can be using the application. You can either just educate your users using the software of this nature, or you could actually follow a process to complete the task that you'd like to have done in a specific way. You can also link it to many YouTube or even a knowledge base that you manage. This can all be done within the Newired portal. So getting back to our presentation, if we get back here, right? So what's the difference between using the LMS and the DAP? First, one of the key benefits is, of course, the operational type of benefit, cutting costs and the training costs. You may ask, how do you cut the training costs? It's simply less time condensed to train people within a new platform, because anytime they forget, they can just go through one particular guide we call journeys. He or she can really pick and choose the activities they want to be assisted in. So there's no general need for overall training within a target application. That doesn't take away from the training that needs to happen, be it regulatory type information or so on. it's easy to maintain the content with Newired, and I'll show you later how we do that. Also to create step-by-step guides with the Newired system. We measured that it's actually faster to update or keep these guides updated with the new Wired editor than change in or getting instructions from the LMS system. Another benefit is that these step-by-step instructions automatically adjust to different language variants within the settings. So the content is always available in the right language, but it's even more important that those operational benefits are strategic benefits related to the return on investment into the digital technology that you may be rolling out. So what does that really mean? According to Gardner, the most digital transformations fail because on their online survey it says about 25% of it's really important to understand, what do they mean by this failure. The failure means that the expected return of investment of rolling out this special ERP system or a new HR portal, or even some sort of engineering lifestyle management tool. This investment that the companies are making, or the enterprise into these digital tools, does not give the expected return on investment, and it's not fully delivered, and it's not fully delivered a successful digital platform. It actually enables the return investment by making sure that people are more engaged with the technology. They use it simply and more often. And that shows how Newired can help change the space by engaging, having the trust within the system that these guidance steps will always be there to help them with potential problems that can make your digital adoption platform work. So now we see the real goal of a digital adoption platform. You can actually make sure that anytime there's a new regulation or a standard, that operating procedure in the tool, you don't just need to train them on it. You can also give them a step-by-step guide that helps them complete this complex or even simple task in real time. So we did not touch on one topic so far. That's the reporting. Both the learning management system and the digital adaptation platform have similar capabilities. You either train people within an LMS, or you can also provide these step-by-step instructions with online tutorial directly in your application with a DAP. Both platforms provide the key pieces of information. And generally, they need to actually be aggregated. This data needs to be put together so that the DAP or the LMS, and a modern option of having people onboarded or trained in an LMS, the one important objective to actually store or retrieve these records across the platforms about their users, and if they have actually been trained on the new labor laws or the new HR system, or uses the LRS. The LRS Learning Record Store is the Learning Record Store's goal is to actually eliminate or ultimately aggregate all the data from different platforms. It is really something that emerged in system records. So it pulls all the tools together on the market. With these capabilities, you can easily start introducing more modern DAP approaches with still having a central storage for your training data. The great thing is that you probably are already using some sort of your own choice for these platforms, and most of the current platform provide capabilities that actually allow third-party system integration. They're quite flexible on how to integrate your data from different platforms. Based on our understanding of the guests joining today, there are many people that are really not fully aware of what a DAP platform really is. So let me also spend a couple minutes speaking about how Newired is used to create and design these online manuals embedded in the application without any coding skills. So we really want the same people that were traditionally using LMS to produce content on and produce interactive guides. So it's quite easy to make the switch. So for this, we go to a live demo site. Let me just open this. So you may recognize the screen. As I mentioned, it's used for our demo site. We are now in the Newired editor, and this is where you create the guides. This is where you can also design and make all the different options, like we have playbooks, settings, and journeys. So I'm going to log in to show you how easy it is to create a simple task. So we close that for now. What we do is, once we know what the task or process is going to achieve, we can give it a name. For this, we'll call it test how to make a new account. We can save that. Once we have that, we can add a new step. We have the options of call out a specific step within the application, a dialog box to give some dialogue, and a panel that sits on the left or right side of the screen that can assist your users. So for this example, we're going to have a call out, and we would like the call out to link to create. For ease of view, we can easily just move that there and confirm the change. Our next call out would be to create the account. Again, we can easily just move that across and confirm changes. Once we are in the create account page, we have a call out asking the user to type in their name here, easily just drop that in. we could say you can easily edit within the box, type your full name here and confirm the change. We could also have another call out, and we can also have many different features that we'd like. You can change the size. You can have a little bit of an animation pop into there. You can also change the position, and you can add in your content here. So you can say type here your office number, and if you want to put more details, you could say make sure to add the extension, and we save and confirm the changes. After we've asked of them all the steps required, we then click on the save button. We can easily again just move this so it's in good view. Click here to save. And once we confirm the changes here, we can run the guidance from the editor to see that everything works correctly. We are instructed to click up here, then click here. Once the page loads, we are told to add in our full name. Sorry, I clicked a bit too fast there, so we can start this again. There we go. Good. Then we add in the extension and we are guided to save. So here, just before I click save, if you notice, we have a tip in here. This is related to a hover, so it doesn't need to be only an icon. It could just relate to a certain field and inform your end user specifically what to add in terms of details. We then are prompted to save. And just in a few minutes, we were able to create a full guidance tool or system to follow a process, be it simple or complex, be it over 1 or 2 applications. Newired can handle that. So I will exit out here. We get back into our slides. So, okay, so that's what we actually provide. We're not providing you with a set of tutorials or setup guides or for popular tools, but similar to the LMS system, we provide you with a solution where you create your own process or procedures with ease and allow your end users to complete the tasks as it should be completed. There is no upfront training with regards to creating these tasks. Anyone can do it as long as you have an idea of, or a process of seeing the task completed. It's quite easy to set up. So let's just, from today's webinar's perspective, I'm sure that we are able to integrate very well within the LMS and LRs, R systems. So with the learning management and the data stores, we definitely can connect very well with them, and you can improve your current LMS, or even have your users find a better way of focusing on completing these complex processes. So I just want to highlight a few additional benefits. So what we've already seen is that it is very easy to use. It does not require any complex coding to create such a tutorial. But at the same time, I want to highlight that it's really these sites and tutorials will work on any device. So, even if you have a different screen size with a different browser location, these content will be robust from the perspective that if you create the content today, and if there's a new version within your application tomorrow, these guidance tools that you created within UIs will work, keeping it performing above our competitors. To recap, Newired is really simple yet robust, as I mentioned. So you don't need to reconfigure your system every time the journey passes through some complex code on the target application. No user data is extracted, making it very secure, and it puts you in control of what you are publishing. All that I've presented today can be hosted on your premise or on our servers. For requirements that are quite strict, we are ready to help with this. We can definitely provide a on-premise installation utilizing our full stack within your environments. Traditionally, for LMS, it's very important for training to get published. It needs to be reviewed and approved. If you wish to maintain different versions or pieces of training, the same applies with the Newired digital adoption platform. We have a really mature version in component that with every modification to the content or you go to maintain, it will be tracked as a new version, and this can be electronically approved and also exported into Microsoft Word and archived if needed. We offer multi-application support. You could really build a step-by-step manual that opens multiple tools at once, and this can be set up for multi-language display just with a few clicks, not recreating the guidance steps from the beginning. Best of all, it's non-technical to use, and it's a really easy subscription model. The key value for both LMS and DAP are also the fact that today it doesn't mean that the DAP platform replaces the LMS, but in reality we have customers who fully benefit from both platforms. Together, the great thing is that the data can be well integrated together, so you have a holistic view on how your users are enabled and their level of training that they've completed on using these systems. So it's really easy to try out as well. We offer a 14-day trial with a free editor. You can arrange with our engagement managers for proof of concept if needed. The application is a really simple subscription-based web solution that reduces training costs, ensures the proper completion of processes or tasks, and can help you overcome any digital transformation hurdles. So we urge you to subscribe, join us, and let us see how we can help accomplish some of these targets and adopt more digital tools to benefit your environments. So thank you for your time today. We have a little bit of time set aside for questions. If you'd like to answer any questions or get your questions answered, please drop them in the chat, and I can go through that. So we have a question, what type of applications do you support? So the main focus of Newired's digital adoption platform, it connects best to the web applications, the type of CRM or HR portals, but this could also be for some sort of desktop applications that use web technology. We could definitely look at how to apply it on that. So to simply answer that question, it's most or any web applications. Just going to have a quick look at some of the questions here. So we have one saying, what are your thoughts on system integration challenges such as third-party authoring? Given the insertion of new technologies and new process technologies out there, more and more companies are open to partnering or allowing connectivity within or authoring within their software. So we haven't faced too much issues around this area. It's really functioning very well for 3 of our clients that are using the LMS over a data storage. So I think it's from that perspective, we find it not challenging at all. No. Let's see if we find any questions. With regards to the language, what language he or she can experience. So with regards to the language, this is really comes from the need of the company. If we offer a industry standard specific file that has all your guidance language within it, and that gets translated, and you can be quite specific with your translation. You know, if you want the tone to be of a certain nature, this can be created with using a professional translator, or you know, if you have someone in the company that's able to do this, we offer the translation as well. We translate your content and deliver you a new file with the translated information that gets uploaded within the Newired system and is available straight away to your end users, making it very easy to have multiple languages for all the applications. Let's go through any other questions. I see one here. Let's just see. Okay, they're talking about embedded articles or knowledge bases. Um, so you've seen we had the hover example of a tip. It's very easy to integrate some of these knowledge bases. We can set up some sort of API that connects your knowledge base within Newired and integrate that knowledge base. So you don't have to rewrite all these documents. They are already within a system, and we can refer to them within the Newired system. You can understand how useful this may be is if you are within a application form and you need specific codes for an area and if utilize is link into their current knowledge bases or training videos they've already set up. That's quite useful. So I see if there's any more questions. No. So that's the time we've reserved for today. Thank you for the time and for all your questions on this webinar. It has been recorded, so we will share the recording with you. If you have any more questions, please let us know by dropping us an email. We're happy to assist and pick in the right platform for you with regards to LMS or the LRS systems. So thank you. Have a great day further.